Hello everyone, welcome to another video. In this video, what we're going to focus on is how we add and subtract algebraic fraction, but specifically when the variable is in the denominator. So example 1, we have 1 over x plus 1 over x squared. First thing, we need to find a common denominator. So a common denominator for x and x squared would be x squared. Then we're going to take each denominator to divide the common denominator and the result to multiply the numerator. So x into x squared, that's going to give us x. And we're going to take that x to multiply our numerator of 1. Put back our plus sign. And then x squared divided by x squared, that's going to give 1. I'm going to take that 1 to multiply our numerator of 1. So x times 1, that's going to give us x, plus 1 times 1, that's going to give us 1. And all of this is going to be over our common denominator of x squared. And we're finished. For the next one, we're given a half minus 1 over 2x squared. So again, we find a common denominator. Common denominator of 2 and 2x squared would be 2x squared. 2x squared divided by 2, that's going to give us x squared. We're going to take the x squared to multiply our numerator of 1. Put that in a bracket. And then we're going to put back our minus sign. 2x squared divided by 2x squared, that gives us 1. We're going to take the 1 to multiply our numerator of 1. So x squared times 1, that gives us x squared. Put back our minus sign. And 1 times 1, that gives us 1. And all of this over a common denominator of 2x squared. For our next question, we have 3 all over x plus 1 plus 5 all over x plus 2. Now for this one, we need a common denominator, just the same. But to get the common denominator, we're going to write these two denominators as a product. So it's going to be x plus 1 in bracket times x plus 2. And then we do the same thing. Take each denominator here to divide our common denominator and take the result to multiply the numerator. So x plus 1 divide into x plus 1 times x plus 2. Clearly, x plus 1 will cancel out. So let me just do that over here. So you would have x plus 1 times x plus 2. And all of this common denominator is divided by this denominator here, which is x plus 1. Clearly, x plus 1 will cancel out x plus 1. So what we're left back with is x plus 2. We should take this x plus 2 to multiply our numerator of 3. So this is going to be 3 times x plus 2. Work our plus sign. And then we're going to take this x plus 2 to divide our common denominator. So let me rough work it out over here. So it would be x plus 1 in bracket times x plus 2. All of this over x plus 2. Clearly here, x plus 2 will cancel out x plus 2. So what you left back with is x plus 1. And you must take 5 to multiply that. So it's going to be 5 times x plus 1. At this stage, what you need to do is to use up your knowledge of the distributive property. So we're going to take this 3 to multiply the first term inside of the bracket. And we're also going to take 3 to multiply the second term in the bracket. Then we're going to take this 5 to multiply the first term in the bracket. I'm going to take the 5 to multiply the second term in the bracket. And that will help us to remove the bracket. So 3 times x, that's going to give us 3x. 3 times a positive 2, that's going to give us a positive 6. And 5 times x, that's going to give us a positive 5x. And 5 times 1, that's going to give us 5, a positive 5. And all of this should be placed over your common denominator, which is x plus 1 times x plus 2. Now from here, we only have one step to go. At this stage, you're going to group the like terms and simplify. So note we have an x term here, which is 3x, and we have a x term here, which is 5x. So if we can combine them together to give us one term. So 3x plus 5x, that is going to give us 8x. And here we have a constant, which is plus 6, and we have another constant, which is positive 5. We can combine them to give us one term. So plus 6 plus 5, that's going to give us plus 11. And all of this should be placed over our common denominator, which is x plus 1 times x plus 2. And we are finished. This one is the same idea. So again, we're going to find a common denominator. And the common denominator is just going to be a product of these two denominators. So it's going to be x minus 1 times x minus 3. Then we do the same thing. We're going to take x minus 1 to divide the common denominator. Clearly, x minus 1 will cancel out x minus 1. What we're left back with is x minus 3. We're going to take this x minus 3 to multiply our numerator of 4. So here we'll write 4 times x minus 3. Put back our plus sign. And then x minus 3 into the common denominator here. Clearly, x minus 3 will cancel out. What we're left back with is x minus 1. We're going to take 1 to multiply x minus 1. So it's going to be 1 times x minus 1. To remove the bracket, we're going to apply the distributive property. So we're going to take 4 to multiply the first term. And we're also going to take 4 to multiply the second term. Then we're going to take 1 to multiply the first term, and we're going to take 1 to multiply the second term. So 4 times x, that gives us 4x. And 4 times negative 3, that's going to give us a negative 12. And positive 1 times x, that's going to give us a positive x. And positive 1 times a negative 1, that's going to give us a negative 1. All over our common denominator, which is x minus 1 times x minus 3. All you need to do is to group the like terms and simplify it, and you're finished. So here we have a 4x, here we have a positive 1x. So 4x plus a positive x, that's going to give us a positive 5x. And here we have minus 12 and we have a minus 1. So minus 12 minus 1, that's going to give us a minus 13. And all of that should be placed over a common denominator. And we're finished, which is x minus 1 times x minus 3. At this stage, the fraction is in its simplest form, so we'll leave it as is. For our next example, it's the same idea. We need to find a common denominator. Common denominator, we're just going to write these denominators as a product. So it's going to be 2a minus 1 in bracket times a plus 2. Then take each denominator to divide the common denominator. So 2a minus 1 times a plus 2 divided by 2a minus 1. Clearly, 2a minus 1 will cancel out. What you're left back with is a plus 2. So we're going to take 6 to multiply a plus 2. So it's going to be 6 times a plus 2. Put back our subtraction sign. Right? Now, we're going to take a plus 2 to divide our common denominator. Clearly, a plus 2 will cancel out a plus 2. So what we're left back with is 2a minus 1. I'm going to take this 2a minus 1 to multiply 2. So it's going to be 2 times 2a minus 1. In order to remove the bracket, we apply the distributive property, which is to take what's outside of the bracket to multiply each term inside of the bracket. So it's going to be this 6 times a, then the 6 times the positive 2. Then it's going to be this negative 2 times the first term here, and then this negative 2 times the second term. So let's do that. And 6 times a positive 2, that's going to give us a positive 12. At this stage, you have to be very careful. Because it's a minus sign here, you have to treat this 2 as a negative 2. So what you are doing is to take negative 2 to multiply each term inside of the bracket. So negative 2 times a positive 2a, that's going to give us a negative 4a. And a negative 2 times a negative 1, that's going to give us a positive 2. So you have to pay attention to this section here. Once there's a minus here, you treat the number as a negative number. When you treat the number as a negative number, you take it to multiply each number in the bracket, what you will notice that the signs of the term inside of the bracket will change. So it's still going to be all over our common denominator here, which is 2a minus 1 times a plus 2. So at this stage, we're going to group the like terms. So we know we have a 6a here, and here we have a minus 4a. So we can group those and simplify. So 6a minus 4a, that's going to leave us with a positive 2a. And then we have a positive 12 plus a 2, that's going to give us a positive 14. And all of this should be placed over a common denominator, and we're finished. So our common denominator is going to be 2a minus 1 times a plus 2. And to our final question for this video, here we need to find a common denominator. So the common denominator is going to be a product of the denominators that we have. So it's going to be y plus 4 times 3y minus 1. Then take each denominator to divide the common denominator. So clearly, y plus 4 will cancel y plus 4. What we're left back with is 3y minus 1. And we take negative 2 to multiply that. So it's going to be negative 2 times 3y minus 1. Then we put back our subtraction sign. And then take 3y minus 1 to divide the common denominator. And again, 3y minus 1 will cancel out. What we left back with is y plus 4. And we must take 5 to multiply that. So it's going to be 5 times y plus 4. At this stage, we're going to apply the distributive law, which is to take what is outside of the bracket to multiply each term inside of the bracket. So negative 2 times 3y, that's going to give us a negative 6y. Then negative 2 times a negative 1, that's going to give us a positive 2. Then here, because we have a minus here, we have to treat this 5 as a negative 5. So we're going to take negative 5 to multiply each term. So negative 5 times y, that's going to give us negative 5y. And negative 5 times a positive 4, that's going to give us a negative 20. And all of this should be placed over your common denominator, which is y plus 4 all over times, 3y minus 1. At this stage, all you need to do, group like terms and simplify. So we have a minus 6y here, and we have a minus 5y here. We can group those together and simplify. So minus 6y minus 5y, that is going to give us a minus 11y. And we also have a positive 2 here and a minus 20. So positive 2 minus 20, that's going to give us a minus 18. And all you need to do is to just put this over your common denominator and you're finished. So the common denominator is y plus 4 times 3y minus 1. And that's it. It cannot be simplified any further. Thank you for watching. And please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Do enjoy the rest of your day.